Hey, there is great power in the number zero. So many possible meanings, but always a move towards spirituality, a spiritual awakening, if you will. So let's take a closer look at this phenomenon. Hi, everybody. It's Lori from Numerology with Lori. Please like and subscribe and click that bell icon to all. So that would really help me with my channel. Thanks so much. So the zero can support. It shows us an old soul, or it can even represent all or nothing as far as a possibility is concerned. It it leads us to divine source. Wow. These are all really, each topic is by itself a big topic. It's big. So this number is not a core number. It's not the 1 through 9 that we're used to seeing in numerology, but it is considered a deeply sacred symbol. No end, no beginning. Where do we find it? And how do we interpret the zero when we do find it? Those are interesting thought processes. So the zeros show up in a month, they can show up in a day, and they can show up in a year. So your life path may not lead to zero, but there could be a zero in your month or in your day, or possibly when your year is reduced. We don't know for sure. Now, keep in mind, there's also the possibility that a life path can be a 2-0, a 3-0, a 4-0. And when this happens, we know that the number reduces to either the 2 or the 3 or the 4. But the really good news is that the zero amplifies the energy that's present in that two for you or the three for you. So the two represents relationships, cooperation, balance, amplified, boom. If it's a three, it might represent joy of living, communication, service to others, boom, amplified. If it's a 4-0, it might represent hard work, the type of work that you love doing, boom, amplified. That's pretty cool. Really cool. Anyway, so all right, we've already talked about this. Okay, so interestingly enough, even though this isn't one of the core numbers typically, and it's not a life path number, which is one of the core numbers, that's one of the five core numbers, it can be like we just discussed, it can be a in the life path, or it can be in an address. We haven't talked about this yet. So I had my last address was 403. So that's zero amplified the four, which was perfect because I always worked very hard and I loved what I did. And now I'm in a position where my address is a 1028. So the one is amplified because typically what happens is that zero amplifies the number that's to the left of it. To the right, to the left. Yeah, I'm doing my Catholic right or left. I always say that. That's wrong. But yes, so the first number is whatever the zero follows is the number that gets amplified. So in this case, it's the one. So the one is about creativity, it's about leadership activity, it's about ideas, it's about so amplified. Wow. Wow. So that's not only that, so anyway, yeah. So that's the part of this that's really important. And we'll do a video on addresses alone because there's so much more I really want to say, as you can see, but I don't want to talk about that right now. So in these cases, the number before, and we just talked about that, is an enhanced ability. So, or it is it's it's just brought out more. I mean, I keep wanting to say boom because that's exactly what happens. We just get a boost of energy that's based on the number that's before the zero. That's really kind of fascinating. So one of the other things to remember about the zero is it can include your pinnacles. Well, I'm sorry, I'm lying there. It does not include pinnacles. We wonder why. Well, the reason for that is because your pinnacles are added. So it's a number plus a number. Typically there's if even if it's even if there's a zero in the date or the day or the year, there's always another number with it. So the it's a month plus day, day plus year. Month are actually the two and three are then added together, and then the fourth pinnacle is month plus year. So in no way, shape, or form does that include a zero. It just will not. You can try it. You can try that. That works. I think I tried it in the beginning because I wasn't quite sure. But your challenges can include it. And we've talked briefly about this where a few people have had one or two zeros in their number. Nine times out of 10, rather. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I was going to say seven. Must be something about that number. But nine times out of 10, the zero can represent an old soul. So an old soul is going to draw from the soul lessons, the lessons that they've learned over time. And a zero challenge can include all lessons or no lessons at all, which it's kind of your choice. It's your choice where you want to take it. You may not always realize it unless you have your reading done, which again, I'd be happy to provide for you. But when you get your pinnacles and challenges, if you know that you have a zero upcoming, you can opt out of challenges and pinnacles altogether. You can just, well, actually not pinnacles, but challenges. So, and a challenge doesn't mean that you're not it means that it's a lesson there that's part of that life cycle, that part of that cycle, whether it be the 9 year cycle or maybe towards the end. It's just something that you it's not even a lesson, it is just a challenge, which is why they call them challenges. So I can explain them a little bit further, but I have the feeling I'm going to need to research that a little bit more to give you some more information. So let's talk about what the zero is known for. So the zero is known for being the cosmic egg. That's fascinating in itself. So it's a symbol of the divine void. Wow. Now, again, remember, this is numerologically speaking, but this can be any kind of spirituality. Any kind of spirituality includes some sort of divine void. In this case, it's an infinite potential. Wow. Oh, I got chills just thinking about that. A primordial source from which all creation emerges. The cosmic egg. Wow. That just blows my mind. Yeah. All creation comes from this. So when we manifest something, everything that's available to us for manifestation is part of this zero, this cosmic egg, this potential, this primordial source. It's all right there. We just need to provide the creative word, the word. So it's the silent powerhouse, the zero is. It's nothingness, or it contains all the possibilities before manifestation. Remember that. So once you've manifested, you've decided what's going to go into it, or it has been decided for you. But before manifestation, there's all the possibilities that you can imagine in that number zero, in the cosmic egg, in the primordial source. Mm. This is all very, very deep, but it's important to know. It's very important to know. So this is a God force, a primordial void, if you will. This is the ultimate mystery. Wow. Yeah, the God force. That's an ultimate mystery. That is the mysterious primordial void. I'm not sure. There's so much to be thought about with this. So much to be thought about. It allows for transformational change. That's part of what that zero is. So let's say we do have a number that is amplified by the zero. We know that your relationships, if it's a 2-0, let's say, your relationships could be transformationally changed. They could be the part of them that's part of they're part of the primordial source for you. Wow. That is really something else. So it can also be taking it a step further. This is the cycles of life. That 1 through 9 can be represented, the zero can be represented as the number right after 9 and right before 1 that happens right before you end an old life and begin a new. So we just talked about this in the void, in the feminine energy that takes over when we just do nothing. That is part of the zero energy, that doing nothing and being able to manifest quietly with a thoughtfulness that allows us to just be, that allows us to just transform and change. Because we're going from the 9, which is ending what doesn't serve us anymore, and we're going to the 1. And that in between, right here, that in between is the 0. So we're going to the 1 energy, which is a new beginning, and we're ending an old cycle, and we're going to a new cycle. That's pretty intense. So this 0 acts as a boundary between ending one life cycle and beginning another. We just talked about this, the 0, the 9, and the 1. This is the boundary. This is the boundary. That 0 acts as the boundary. Wow. So remember, there's always a little bit of a spiritual awakening involved here as well. So spiritual development, intuition, returning to oneness, it's all part of that 0 energy. Oh, wow. Nothing to everything. We've talked about this before. This is the potential of the 0. It's the nothing of it or the all of it. It's the potential, uh, wow. The space where ideas live before they become reality. Oh man, I love that line. The space where ideas live before they become reality. Mhm. So there's one more thing I want to say about this. I dabble in tarot. I'm not the best tarot reader, but I understand tarot. So when I first did a 1 through 9 review, I also took a look at the 0. And the 0 in tarot is the Fool card. If you're a tarot reader, you might agree with this. And again, there's this potential, this pregnant with potential concept. That amazes me. That amazes me. It's an open channel to higher forces. Pretty interesting. So going back to where we started, the 0 does have a great power. It has so much power, power for manifestation, power for spiritual awakenings, power for being a border, and power for being all and or nothing. I think that We all need to spend a little more time looking for the zeros in our numbers, and I would be happy to provide that for you. Again, if you want me to do a reading for you, please go to my website. It's LoriIntuitiveNumerologist.com, or just email me, Lori Manning Bolus 37 at gmail.com, and I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.